Good afternoon or good evening, guys. It's 5:56 p.m. Today is June 23rd, and let's start with the pre-market notes. Okay, first. So today was another choppy day. So anyway, I stopped trading after 9:50 or 10. As usual. So because the day was cooler. Anyway, so because Powell was talking, right, between 10 to 11, and then before that we have a PMI news or something, right? So that behavior was expected, but buyers were in control up to certain points in the morning, and then when they got screwed up, that's where the sellers step in. So general view, balancing price action, right? Anything can happen, both sides are active, all these things. As per yesterday's end of day notes, closing remark, either gap up, right, and go, or open around closing and do something is the scenario in play. So it gap up, right, and then instead of going, it pulled back, filled the gap, then it went higher, right? But on the way up, the demand was fading. That means buying was reducing, right? So the way I see it, the why buying was reducing, because there was a divergence in advanced decline, so AD was not rising actually, there was a bearish divergence there, and that's why. But so that was a short setup there too, but considering the way price filled the gap, the way NQ was holding, and based on the chart notes, above Globex low, buyers were active, so that's why you cannot take a short, in the morning, I'm talking about when there was a bearish CD divergence, right? So that's pretty much, I covered it, now almost everything in this few statement, but here gap up and continue to go down is the 20% probability. For the rest, at high level overview for buyers for today, keep the chart notes in mind, above buyers, below sellers, that kind of notes, right? NQ's dream numbers are important. Do look at the damn dream number. It held it today to the T, and price did not go below it entire day, till closing it didn't go below, so dream number held it today, that was the clue that NQ doesn't want to go down, even ES went down, NQ doesn't want to go down, and that's why at the end of the day everything bounced. Yesterday's closing is important, breakout above yesterday's high equal to more buyers will come, overall this range bound short-term buyers have some control above Globex low and yesterday's closing, right? Overall mid-term sellers are still in control, and that's why you are seeing this price behavior, right? That whenever price tries to go higher, somebody shorts it, because mid-term sellers, they are more powerful than short-term buyers. Short-term buyers have to produce a trend days, in order to push the price higher, So now today try to stick with longs above yesterday's close at minimum if price is opening up anywhere above it, right? So today price open above yesterday's close, so morning we have to favor longs, no choice, unless something changes. Russell, it's about this, above this buyers, below this sellers, right? Dow is about this. Crude, you can go through these things, right? I did not look at crude today. Dream number, this dream number, yes, 562 and 520, is it the same one? I think so. Yes, 562 and 520, right? Look at this dream number, yellow line, see, it held it, right? So yes, it poked below because volatility is high, right? But then it held it basically, see that? Price did not like go down and all these things, right? And so these were the notes, that I gave it in pre-market notes as a part of the chart notes, right? So here it says above buyers are trying, below sellers trying, right? Same line from yesterday I carried forward, this notes, and price was holding above it, so that means buyers have a control. Here same thing, see yesterday's notes were this, around the same level, and today the damn thing held it in the pre-market, right? And then it pushed higher in pre-market, so buyers are here. Until price goes below, buyers have a control, here also. That's why you don't take a short here, if there, even though there was an opportunity, you're better off looking for long than short, so So those are the nodes, right? Preferred buyer area, correct? And then look at this, even in pre-market here they held it, right? Here also look at this, pre-market right here they held it, see that, after breaking above. So but these blue lines, what we discussed in Discord today, that NQ may go higher. See, ES was clear about this areas, you know. So but then NQ, you know, it has so many blue lines above it. So that is what the main concern I had it for NQ, which we discussed already in Discord in the morning, that if NQ goes higher, it will stop pause at one of these blue lines. And considering these blue lines, you know, it's like a tough choice for NQ to go higher, but we have to evaluate in real time at that point, right? So the lower the location you get for the longs, it's better, because when price starts to go here, if you see pause, you have to bail out then, right? Because those lines are powerful, and because of that ES will also go down, you know. So then price open right here, you know, right somewhere around here, right? And then we were watching, and then right after opening 15 minutes PMI was scheduled to release, and then 10 o'clock Powell, right? So I was not excited to trade today, you know, right off the open. So I waited, you know, and then price started going down here, right off the open. NQ was tanking while ES was holding here, you know, this area, preferred buyer area, right? While NQ was just went through it. So while ES was holding it, something was off, because ES was not refusing to go down while NQ go down, right? Right here. So here we discussed there could be a trap buyers here, right? So I said we are not going to buy here, let's wait till dream number to get a better risk reward in terms of a stop loss placement, right? Because if we go long here, ideally, you know, usually price comes to dream number, you know, so we have to put a stop here, right? It's too much stop, right, in the morning when Powell is scheduled to speak, right, and PMI. So we have to go for a reduced risk trade. So that's why I waited. When it touched the dream number, first test I went long right here, right? Yes, I was monitoring this area, you know, but then yes, I couldn't take the trade because it was a breakdown, you know. It was like a holding here, right? But NQ was like breaking down below, so I can only take one trade, you know, because they were like kind of like off divergence between indexes, right? So I choose to go with NQ, considering ES is not gonna move major because it's waiting for PMI and Powell speech, right? But NQ can move back and forth this many points, right? Like almost like what, 40-50 point move that I can capture right before PMI or before Powell speech, right? So that was the idea. So that's why I took the long, and when the price reached here, I said you can scale or bail out, or you can hold with break even stop, you know. That is what we discussed, right? And then price came down, right? Another attempt, while ES came down to this mid, correct? And then so it was a breakdown actually, right? But then what time it was? It was almost what time? I think it was PMI. See that it was during PMI. You can't trust these things unless, because right after 50 minutes Powell was talking, it is unlikely that it's gonna do a major move, right? So this breakdown may not survive, you know. And anyway buyers are strong about this area, right? And this is barely first spoke, right? So you have to wait, you know, because NQ was holding here, right? And NQ was also holding here too, right? But when it came down second time, I said now either it has to go, or if it goes back above 600, that is a confirmation that buyers are active. If it goes above 625, it's a more confirmation, you know, and then you can go long. That is what I said in Discord, you know. So but ES 83 is the area where I said observe. Above 83 you can look for longs, not below it. And here it was like holding 83, 84 area. See that? Finally when it goes higher, you know, so here, right here, when it went higher, right, NQ went higher, then it pulled back, right? See here I said you can go long, you know, and then at the time ES was pulling back here at this VWAPs, preferred buyers area. See here you can go long in ES, but ES was overall in the balance, right? So it's risky proposition here while Powell was talking, you know. But NQ you can go long because NQ made the nice effort, you know, all the way up, you know, and it held this area 2 times. So it is more powerful because it was dim number and it sliced through this line, 2 red lines, right? That's why you take a long here at the pullback, and it was a confluence area too, right? Then price was going higher, everything was good, right? But these blue lines, see, these are the risky proposition here, right? So but you hold it because it was fresh breakout. Then you see there was a pullback here, right? You take that one too, but then you see these things poking around here, and then it touched here and then come down like this. See, this is not a good sign, right? It was around 11 o'clock or so. See, here also same thing, right? This was a first hour high. See, look at what ES was doing. So at that time when it tried to go higher here, right, it broke out over this first hour or whatever, the morning high, right? But then look at this here. See that divergence? So very steady divergence going on, right? While everything is pointing up, this was not going down, going up. So that was the first thing people may short here, based on this. And considering this blue line, they will short here, right? And they did actually, right? Then price went down, correct? So and then it tried to go higher, higher, higher again, right? Again tried to break out above first hour high. But look at this AD, it's even more down, double divergence, right? So you can see this was because of that. And then somebody trapped it, got trapped, buyers got trapped here because AD couldn't proceed further. See that? That's why you see this sell off later on, because there was not enough juice to push this price higher, right? So that's where the day got screwed up, right around this 11:30 or so, somewhere around here, right? And then when it's screwed up, means both sides are active. That means whatever this happened, you have to forget it. Those buyers are not legit. Down move may come, and then up move also can come, because it's a screwed up day. Both sides are active, right? So here you can take this trade right here, because price had enough chance to go higher. Now you have a double divergence, and it has a mini balance and then breakdown. See that? NQ same thing, balance above blue line, breakdown, touch the blue line, breakdown again, right? That was the trade. And then you can target this low, right? Or possibly look for lower move. But the day was screwed up. See my point? So buyers can step in at any point, right? So here when NQ went to the morning low, ES was way below morning low, correct? So it was a strong divergence between those two indexes. One side will win. Either ES will carry forward NQ to the downside, or NQ will carry forward ES to the upside, right? Either one can happen. Then what is going to happen then? You don't know. When you don't know, you don't trade here, right? You wait. Because internals were barely, see, look at this, price was way below yesterday's closing, but look at AD, it was barely around below zero line. So AD was not supporting sellers, internals were not supporting sellers, I would say, based on the AD, not stocks were not selling off, right? So you can't take a short here. NQ, since it was holding this dream number, you cannot take a short either here, right? You cannot go long here because NQ was able to come down all the way down here, and this thing was trending down. So it may go down, who knows, right? And so you have to wait. And then what happened? 1 hour of chop, right? This 1 hour of chop. So at least 1 hour of chop going on, somebody will give up, their upside or downside, right? So then what happened? This thing's gone. Sellers gave up. Price had a breakout. Price had a breakout back into this red lines, right? Now serious red line is, it's all the game about this red line today in NQ. Why? Because look at this red line, price traded above red line, right? Sliced through it, acted as a resistance up to this point, right? Then went above it, acting as a support. Then this is all news driven move back and forth around this line, right? Then what happened? Afternoon, here again buyers bought it, right? And then sliced through it, then it acted as a resistance. Once it price went through again, it acted as a support, right? See that? So it becomes a rotational area, and that area is like that from last 3 days now, right? Finally now price is above it, correct? So that was the long right here, the breakout or pullback. ES also same thing here, that was a long, right? So but anyway, it's a screwed up day, you can do either one, short, long, whatever, or I would suggest not to trade at all, just take this longs and be done with it, right? So that was for ES, right? For our regular way. Now let's talk about Mboxwave. I will very quickly finish Mboxwave, right? So I will cover it. You can do the same exercise for ES, okay? So not a great signal today, to be honest, like I need something very good right up though, and then later on, I don't have a time to watch all this thing, back and forth. So because it requires more attention to details here, right? But in the morning, right? So in the morning you can see it here. Where was it? Here. Okay. So price started open here, right? And then was an open drive kind of down move, correct? So here, like this, right? So by looking at these signals, there was no short signals actually, there was nothing, just price went down, that's all, just because of this offer. But that is not the true case, right? Every day it doesn't happen that way. When you see this big dot, it may not go down, right? So this was not a signal actually, right? Because up to that point everything was good, there was no short signal here, okay? But then price went down, fine. So here it was going down, 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 right? So here we took the long based on this line, right? But then in Mboxwave you can see that was yellow line, this yellow line, right? And this was a two red lines, this was a blue line, right? So when it touched here, look at this, what happened. At the very first test, buyers bought it. That's where I went long, right? I didn't even waited for this signal here. There was no signal here actually, right? But you can see it went down straight down there, right? It could have gone down too, right? But anyway, I don't look at Mboxwave in the morning when I'm trading. So I went long here, right? But then there was no signal to go long, right? But then what happened? 119, right? And then I knew at that point this red line will act as a resistance, right? So it did acted as a resistance. Price came down, but look at this second test, minus 25, right? That selling is gone, right? That's the sign. So here you can go long based on Mbox if you want to, and if you know this level. Otherwise there is no long signal at this point here, Then what happened? Because look at this, selling was there. Here, yes, selling fade away a little bit, but there was no enough buying anyway, right? So there is no case here to go long. Then what happened? Second test of this area, right? But second test, see here you can see this algos, see, and this buying gone pretty much, right? And there was little buying here, right? So here you can short based on the Mbox, definitely, but you have to wait for this, and you can short somewhere around here, right here, right? But if you don't know the story that what price is doing, then you will get trapped here, right? If you purely follow this, correct? Because it was a good signal, but on some days you have to avoid it. You need to know your context. See, knowing this bounce from this dream number 2 times, right? And considering Powell is talking, PMI news, it is unlikely it's gonna continue going down, right? And this location is poor to short right here. If you would have shorted here, somewhere is fine, but here it's a poor location, okay? But it was a valid signal. Then let's say you shorted it, right? And then you saw this breakdown, fine, you are happy now, right? Then what happened? Price pulled back here, right? Then what do you see? Minus 116. See, that was your warning sign, something is off. But looking at this selling, this supply, right, or this selling, and this bids, right, bids exceeding this offer, right? So more selling. Looking at this, most likely you will hold it, right? So but then what happened? Immediately push back up, right? See, here you should be smart enough to cut your trade, if not, then you got screwed, okay? So, and I held it, actually I held my long, throughout. But anyway, so then what happened? At this point when you got screwed, you should know immediately something is off, and then you can see, after looking at this, definitely buyers are there. And look at this now, see, offer superseding the offer supersede, no, bids superseding the offer. See, I get confused with this bid and offer thing, right? So instead of bid and offer, I would say, buying supersede the selling. So at this point, somebody got screwed, and that will fuel to the upside. See, here it's like a effort no result, right? Or change of behavior, right? So here by looking at this, definitely now Powell was started talking, right? And then you see this pullback here, right? And then price went higher, right? But then look at this, what happened? 58, right? Immediately demand gone, right? And then price pulled back. See, this is the time. See, remember this point where you got screwed? This is where I said you got screwed, right? Look at this. See, it pulled back there, right? So that was the long right there, you know. So, but there was no signal here. There was no Mbox signal here, right? That will justify that you go long. Yeah, there was a signal here, right? Pull back, and but it was number 9, right? -9. But then there was 2 algos. So yes, you can take this breakout here, right? And then you can take your chance, correct? That you can do, you know. But I wouldn't go long here. Why not? Right? Because Powell was talking. You know, I don't want to go long while Powell was talking aggressively at the high, you know, near the day's high, where already this seller stepped in, right? So I wouldn't go long here, but I may try if it goes down and pull back long, right? So that's why I went long, because it was my level, you know, and then it respected it. And I know there was a rotation around this level, right? So this selling area became support here, pretty much, right? So I waited here, you know, and when price went higher about this red line, top one, I went long here. You know? So that's how it is, you know. So, and then I saw 255, right? And then I just, you know, waited, that's all. And there is no selling going on at that point onwards. Look at this, buying, right? Then 189, 149, right? And then 273, and then immediately gone, 63. Boom, look at this. See that? That was your short setup coming up. And then you can see it, right? And then this blue line, remember this blue line short here, like this. See that? Right here, yellow line. Yellow line is level plus Mbox confirming together. Blue line means, blue arrow means only Mbox, right? So that was your trade based on Mbox to go short now, right here somewhere, you know, this area, right? Based on this divergence. See that? So demand is gone pretty much. You know, demand buying is reduced. Selling came here. See that? This is a contraction of delta, right? So that's why there was a short here. Then what happened? Then price went down, -600, you know, selling came, nice selling, right? Renewed supply, I would say, right? Whatever the mic used to say, right? Renewed supply. Or could be exhaustion, who knows, right? But this is a renewed supply. And then, you know, price pulled back, and then came down again, right? And then what happened? Look at this. See that? Selling is gone. Delta is contracting. And then upthrust, right? Change of behavior. So you can go long somewhere around here if you know this importance of these levels, right? So, or you can use these pullbacks, you know, to go long, right? So that's why it's a both ways, you know, yellow arrow. You can go long based on Mbox or signals or the levels, right? And then that's it pretty much, right? So easy busy trade today, and that be all.